if weight training, sleep, everything else is like constant and remains the same, and you eat more food, you'll tend to gain weight, hopefully muscle mass.
Yeah.
If you're doing everything else right, unless you're psychologically not fit, then you're going to have a lot of issues. Because if you gain 5 to 10 pounds and you look at the weight on the scale, it's like, look, you got to chill out. Mm-hmm. You have to chill out, or you need to go to the couch and think about things for a while. Okay. We're in a surplus. So if weight training, all the stresses in your life are all normal, and you eat more food, you'll tend to gain a little bit of weight, which is fine.
Usually in the form of muscle mass.
Yeah.
Yes. If everything else is the same, and then you eat a little less food, ideally, in a perfect world, you'll tend to lose fat. Mm-hmm. It's hard. It seems so simple, but it's so hard for people to, like, stay the course.
Trust.
Stay the course.
Yeah.
Stay the course.
I mean, honestly, the ultimate goal when you're bulking is like your weight not change and just your body fat changes, you know?
Yes.
Goes down.
Well, what I wanted to kind of poke fun at, if you see something in the store or you see something on Facebook, it's an ad and it's trying to sell you things. It's not trying to educate you.
Yeah.
You have to talk to real people or read articles from people that are not trying to sell things. Then you're going to learn. If you just look at, like, this is one cool trick or one blah, 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 it's trying to sell you on something. And if you buying that one thing makes, like, your habits a little bit cleaner and a little bit better, then it worked. Mm-hmm. Who cares why? Who cares? It worked. But I think that the women going on a bulk, if you did everything, like, look, I'm taking all these things, all these decision making, like, I'm taking all that stuff away, and you're going to do A, B, and C. I think a lot of women would be a lot happier. Really, I think they would.
So I'm going to use. I'm not going to name this individual, but somebody that's in my life, that I've had a decent conversations with some of these things about, like, they were very much a constant cardio person. I'm going to be vegan for X, Y, and Z reasons, and I got a Snapchat from them the other day of them in Kroger because meat was on sale or whatever, and it was like a sleeve of steaks, and they were like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever seen." And what that individual has discovered is that basically, like, when they started lifting heavy and started enjoying actually training in a heavy weight scheme that they were scared to do before they did it, they realized that by doing that level of training, you need to have an intake that matches that level of training. And so they did. And then they saw, that they were feeling better. They had less hormone issues. They were things that were corrected by, like you said, kind of doing a bulk, but not like intentionally doing a bulk, by eating a little bit more, by sleeping better, putting emphasis on some of these things that we talk about. And there was some weight gain associated with that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the places that they saw gain, quote unquote gain, were in the muscle groups that they wanted to see gain in anyway.
Right. Yeah.
They were in the muscle groups that most people consider to be, desirable. And it's like, well, yeah, because that's what you're training.
Yeah. I use myself as an example all the time, but like sometimes I eat like you wouldn't believe how much food and alcohol I can eat in one day. And that's a lot of calories. And it just always kind of shocks me that, like, I don't really gain a lot of weight. And I know
you don't magically explode the next day.
I get that I'm also
I'd love to tell you
young.
a cheesecake story, but I don't know if I should.
I get also that I'm young, but I also feel like I've never, like, it's been years since I have really done like a detriment to my metabolism,
Right.
So I feel like I'm in a good place where I do a pretty good job most of the time, but I can get away with, not doing a good job every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said, I'm younger than most of my clients, so that's probably what they would say to me. But
yes, of course.
I hear it all the time.
But also I've put more time into doing it the right way than they have. Mm-hmm. Most of them,
for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to overgeneralize.
Well, but most of the time, the conventional wisdom has been eat less and do just endless cardio. Like that was always the whatever anybody wanted to suggest, and for women specifically. Like I think it's something that's been awesome to see in as kind of an evolving movement, more and more people are getting involved. More and more women are getting involved in lifting. And more women are realizing that I can ditch the pink 4-pound, 2-pound, dumbbells, and I can actually grab a barbell with some weight on it and do some really cool stuff and have the body changes that I want happen because of the movements that I'm doing now.
And it feels really good when you can say, oh my gosh, I'm eating more. I'm not doing any cardio and things are...
I'm actually trimming down.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
I mean, the scale's not moving, but are you okay with that,
Right. And the thing, and we talked about that a little bit last episode of just talking about like the scale is literally just a number. It's not a determining factor. It's not a what's the word I'm looking for? It's not a...
Unless you're trying to improve your insurance.
Apparently, right. Like, but it's
Right,
not an
back to
indicator.
that.
It's not an indicator of health. It's just a number.
Drink out of my loud water.
And so if you're trimming down, Evan and I talk about this a lot with like, are your clothes fitting differently? Do you feel better even just moving? Like, do you look better a little bit?
I have a client in the afternoon. I don't. Can I mention her name? I don't think she cares.
I mean, if they don't care, then it's up to them.
Amanda Cook, but she started coming in. I think it's been a year now.
Shout out to Amanda if you're listening.
Yeah, I think it was the end of the summer, so not quite a year. But anyways, I was looking back through like pictures or something, and I mentioned to her in the gym, I was like, I just came across like a picture of you like in the gym, and I said, you look totally different. Like your body has changed so much. And she was like, thank you so much. She was like, I should have taken pictures, because she said my clothes fit so much better, and she goes, I can do things now that I have never been able to do, or I used to get tired doing. But she's like, the scale hasn't moved. But she's like, I'm okay with that. I really am. She's like, I'm 35 and I'm okay with that. But it was just kind of cool to see, because I mean, it really kind of surprised me. She says all the time how much like this is making her life easier. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, and she's got like 4 little girls, so she's probably doing a lot of things for them all the time.
Well,
but
and
that's cool.
That is the mentality. If I could change if I could change a misconception, like that would be the one that I would want to change the fastest, is this idea that like we have this unhealthy relationship with the number on the scale, when that is not, like I said, it's not an indicator of health. And there are so many other things like, oh, I can do things that I haven't been able to do before. Like that's adding value to your life. The number on the scale is not adding any level of value to your life. You're adding value to your life by being able to do things you couldn't do before, feeling better about yourself and feeling better in general than you've ever felt before. And it's like, those are so, like, it's such an awesome achievement to get to that point, to think that like, oh, I was caught up over this number that in the grand scheme of things is irrelevant.
Just don't tell people if you're so embarrassed by it.
Who cares? You know what I mean? It's a number. Like, everybody's got a number.
Here's an idea.
Sorry.
You stop judging other people for that number, and maybe you won't feel so judged.
Well, the thing is that so many people feel bad about themselves, and so they want to find, oh, well, you weigh. Shut up. Go out. Go away. Get out of here. Get out of here with that garbage. Get out of that negative mentality. I don't want to cuss, but I'm sorry. I'm getting fired up over here. Check out this episode of PRTyCast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. The full video version is also available on YouTube. Thank you for joining us on this adventure, and we will see you next time.